Welcome back to today's devotional reading, February 24, from the book Christ Triumphant. The topic for today is, will we look for safety after it's too late? And the scripture reading comes to us from Genesis chapter 7 and verse 11. It reads, "In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened." As we listen to this devotional reading, let us remember Noah was told the flood is coming. He made preparation. He and his family entered the ark. Then the waiting began. He did not know the exact day when the rain would fall, but he was safe in the ark of God. As the clouds moved in, it became clearer that the end was near, and so shall it be in the end. Please listen as I read. The antediluvians were warned, but the record states that they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. They saw Noah and his wife and their sons and their wives passing into the ark, and the door was closed upon them. Only 8 persons entered that refuge from the storm, and for a week they waited for the rain to come. Daily the sun rose and set in a clear sky, and daily there came to Noah the temptation to doubt. But the Lord had said that the flood was coming, and Noah rested in this word. At the end of the 7 days, clouds began to gather. This was a new sight, for the people had never seen clouds. Thicker and thicker gathered the clouds, and soon rain began to fall. Still, the people tried to think that this was nothing very alarming. But soon it seems as if the windows of heaven had been opened, for the rain poured down in torrents. For a time, the ground drank up the rain. But soon the water began to rise, and day by day it rose higher and higher. Each morning, as the people found the rain still falling, they looked to one another in despair, and each night they repeated the words, "Raining still?" Thus it was, morning and evening. For 40 days and 40 nights the rain poured down. The water entered the houses and drove the people to the temples that they had erected for their idolatrous worship. But the temples were swept away. The crust of the earth was broken, and the water had been concealed in its bowels burst forth. Large stones were thrown into the air. Everywhere could be seen human beings fleeing in search of refuge. The time had come when they would have been only glad to accept an invitation to enter the ark. Filled with anguish, they cried, "Oh, for a place of safety." Some shrieked to Noah, pleading for admission into the ark, but amid the furious blast of the tempest, their voices were unheard. Some clung to the ark till they were washed away by the dashing waves. God had shut in those who believed his word, and no others could enter. Parents with their children sought the highest branches of the trees, yet standing. But no sooner had they reached this refuge than the wind flung tree and people into the foaming, seeping water. Where now was the ark and those at whom the people had jeered and mocked? Preserved by the power of God, the immense boat was riding safely upon the waters, and Noah and his family were safe inside. Thanks for listening thus far to this devotional reading, February 24. Will we look for safety after it's too late? I want to say this to us. We can see all the evidences before us. What will our answer be? The signs of the times are nearly ended. Will we be stiff-necked and wayward like those in Noah's time? It will then be too late. Let's look to Jesus now, for our redemption draweth nigh. Don't let the door get closed on us. Listen to this song. and be blessed.
The Lord's our rock, in him we hide, a shelter in the time of storm. Secure whatever may betide, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty, mighty rock in a weary land, cooling, cooling shade on the burning sand. Faithful, faithful guide for the pilgrim's band, a shelter in the time of storm. A shade by day, defense by night, a shelter in the time of storm. No fears alarm, no foes affright, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty, mighty rock in a weary land, cooling, cooling shade on the burning sand. Faithful, faithful guide for the pilgrim's band, a shelter in the time of storm. The raging floods may round us beat, a shelter in the time of storm. We find in God a safe retreat, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty, mighty rock in a weary land, cooling, cooling shade on the burning sand. Faithful, faithful God for the pilgrim's band, a shelter in the time of storm. O rock divine, O refuge there, a shelter in the time of storm. Be thou our helper ever near, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty, mighty rock in a weary land, cooling, cooling shade on the burning sand. Faithful, faithful God for the pilgrim's band, a shelter in the time of storm.